Good evening, everybody. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody can hear me just fine. If you all would, somebody give me a number one so that I know my audio is working fine. All right. Bob R is the first one. Look at that. Thank you, sir. Everybody else is chiming in now. I see that there's quite a few people in here. My moderators in here, Jan, Coffee First, JT. Thank you very much for taking time out of your Saturday evening to be here with me on this Saturday night live stream. And we're going to give this here just a few moments and we're going to get going. I got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. I do have some news and stuff I want to get to before we really get going, but we're going to give this just a few minutes here. I want to see if some more people jump in so nobody misses the news I want to talk about. So I see there is all kinds of people in here. Pitbull's here, Kimberly's here, the Debbie Doo's here, Rakamas, how are you? Justin, Teresa, how you doing? Michelle, Marilyn, Carrot Top, JP. All right, folks. Rena's here. I'm just doing a quick scroll through. Bob R. D's Crafts. Lady Jocelyn. Chris Riggs is here. How you doing? Stuart's prepping. How you doing, Stuart? I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining in. All right. Okay, folks. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I know I usually go through and I say hello to everybody, but I got some stuff that I really want to get to here. I'm sure you're all aware of what took place with Alaskan Prepper, AP, with his channel. He got a YouTube jail. Basically, it's a strike, and YouTube took his account down for a week. Now you can still go and you can view the videos and stuff. He just cannot comment. He can't post any videos. He can't do anything. He did reach out to me and ask me if I would just make sure that, because a lot of the followers here either came from AP's channel or you know who AP is. We need to support him. Now he has been, I call him the godfather of prepping, just because of what he has done throughout his career here on YouTube. He started his YouTube channel on November 6th in 2017. And he's been doing videos and stuff ever since then. He has thousands of videos and he's helped a lot of people out. He is one of the main reasons why I'm sitting here talking to you. So his account he'll be back on his account, should be on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, because it was a 7-day jail time, if you want to call it that. It just goes to show that maybe sometimes if as creators, we have to walk the line sometimes. And when the true information tries to get out, it sometimes does get stopped. Unfortunately, folks, it's just the way it is. Um, I did have a video that was taken down. It was my first time, so they give me a warning. They did not give me a strike. They give me a warning. That particular video is on my website. So, we just got to make sure that we are supporting AP and when he comes back online, because this does affect a creator's channel. They don't really start pushing your videos and the whole 9 yards. So some of you may not even get notified that a video that he has done has come out. I did reach out to him and ask him if he would like to come on here tonight, as far as even in just the comments or whatever, just to join in. And he can't do that either. YouTube frowns upon that, and they told him that he cannot go on to any other channel and discuss or talk about anything that is going on. So that is the reason that he is not here tonight, um, which I totally understand, because as he told me, that could also jeopardize my channel, and then we both be in one heck of a boat. So real quick, folks, just make sure that when Tuesday or Wednesday rolls around, you may have to go to his channel to maybe catch some of his new content, because it may not be pushed right away from YouTube. So just make sure you're checking back in with him come Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm not sure exactly what the date or times are when he will be able to be released from YouTube jail. So, with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for the support that you do give me on this channel, for watching all the videos and everything else this week. We do have a winner. Will be announcing later on tonight. That was picked from Friday's video. And I'm really happy to be able to do these giveaways and everything else. This coming week, there will be no giveaway this week, and I'll be planning something for the following week after that. And I guess the biggest thing, folks, is as we get into this, is reality really sinking into your pocketbook? You know, reality is sinking into millions of people right now on the whole picture of what is taking place in this country, in this world. Um, a lot of this news, just let me clarify something, because a lot of people are just like, well, other preppers are talking about this, or you're just repeating it. We're all talking about the same thing, because this is what is important and this is what is news. Um, Unfortunately, if you have however many prepping channels that are on YouTube, survival channels, and everything else, we're all talking about the same news. It's nothing different. I mean, that's just how it is. We all take in, um, you know, we all read the same information, um, and we take it from there. But reality is really sinking in to a lot of people right now. There's a lot of scary stuff that's going on out there. There's a lot of people that are in jeopardy of losing their homes, being evicted from their apartments, can't buy food, they can't afford it, or maybe they can only afford like mac and cheese or rice, ramen noodles. Um, you have kids that are getting ready for back to school. At least, down here in Florida, they start back in another week. And parents have been struggling to try to get the supplies that they need for their kids to go to school. And I'm not talking about people that are not working. I'm not talking about people that are just sitting at home collecting welfare. I'm not talking about any of those people. I'm talking about the people that are out there that are working every single day. They go to work, they do their job and everything else. And at the end of the week, there's any money left. Yeah, gas prices have keep dropping, a few pennies here, a few pennies there. It's nothing drastic that's really going to help. It has dropped, but yeah, it has a long way to go before people will be able to afford what is taking place. Now, you do have, um, on top of that, we had the GDP numbers came out the other day, and that was 0.9%, down again in the second quarter. And basically, that is signaling a recession. Now, if you are listening to the good old federal government here, they do not see this as a recession for some reason. They keep stating because the amount of people that are still working doesn't classify as a recession, because usually in a recession, you have a lot of people start losing their jobs and everything else, and they haven't seen that happen yet. So they say we're not in a recession. I say do not believe these folks. The the writing's on the wall. With the whole interest rate that just went up again, another 0.75%. Um, for people that are just buying homes and everything else, your interest rates setting at what? Just shy of 7%, when not too long ago it was like 2.5%, 3%. And it's really putting the hurt on the housing market, because people are no longer going to be able to afford these homes. Down here in Florida, a lot of homes, the average home cost here in Florida is around $400,000. So you figure if you put your 20% down, then you tack on 7% interest, or just shy of it, your payments are going to be astronomical. And if you have a really, really good job, I guess maybe you won't worry about it. But for the average person out there, or couple that are trying to build their lives and, start a family and everything else, it's going to make things very difficult. The prices of rent here in Florida, I don't know about anywhere else in the country, but here in Florida are just, I mean, unbelievable. They're trying to put together uh, some bills in Tallahassee to curb the amount of rent that can be raised when someone's lease is up, because some of these people, their leases have jumped $300 when their lease is up. If they want to stay there, it's going to cost them $300 more than what it was, which is ridiculous. I mean, that's just, people can't afford it. I'm seeing more and more homeless people. Actually, this past week, they were cleaning out there's a big, huge area behind one of the little strip malls that I deliver to. And in this strip mall, it's like a T-Mobile, a GameStop. There's a couple of salons, a couple of little restaurants. And then behind that is this big wooded area. And a lot of the homeless people have been living back there. And they built must have been a pretty good size homeless camp back there, because when they cleaned that out, they filled up 2 huge dumpsters full of stuff: furniture, beds, dressers, chairs, tables, all kinds of stuff. There was piles of tarps, and the city went in there and pushed them all out. Now, where they're all going to go, because now they have the last Thursday and Friday, they had the sheriff's department was there, making sure that, evidently, so nobody goes back in there. And from the way it looks like they may be putting up a fence around this area here. So, I mean, this is where we're at. I see people living out of their cars with their kids and everything else. The reality is really starting to sink into millions and millions and millions of people in this country and around the world. Um, we have so much stuff that is really taking place is just ungodly. It's like a broken record of bad news every time that we turn around, and something's got to give here, folks. I mean, we've got to. Um, I know it's easy for me to sit back and tell people that you got to be positive, you got to keep a positive attitude, you got to try to stay ahead of the game, and everything else. And I keep doing these videos because I want people to make sure that they're doing that. Using your head and thinking and taking a step back and take a deep breath, and then analyze the situation of what is happening and how you're going to have to deal with it. Everybody is in the same boat as far as the financial area, but everybody's not in the same boat as far as what is actually taking place in these each individual people's lives, as far as they could be working and being thrown out because they can't afford the rent. I mean, that's just a hard pill to swallow, isn't it, folks? You go to work every day, you work your 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, whatever it could be, but you still can't afford the rent because it's so high. Or your mortgage payment if you have a floating arm. And now your your interest rate, once that kicks in, you're probably not going to be able to afford that house anymore. Period. See, that's the uh, before all this really took place, having a floating arm it was an okay thing for a lot of people to get into a home and everything else, and then try to build and reestablish credit and all this kind of stuff. And this way here, then they could turn around and just get hopefully a basic locked in mortgage rate. But if you didn't, and you were playing Russian roulette with this, now it's come back and the bullet's in the chamber, if you get what I'm saying. Because now your interest rate's going to go so high, your payment is going to go up even more than what people are paying for rent. The average food price in the United States surged another 10.4% in the last 12-month period. And that's the most since February of 1981. For those of you who probably were around at that time and remember that, the next worst time period over the last, say, 50 years, 54 years or so was, I believe it was 73, 74 when they had like the gas embargo and all that. And inflation was just out of this world at that point. And that was the worst period, besides the Great Depression, obviously. That was the number one period that we don't want to have to go back to. But unfortunately, sometimes it feels like, history does repeat itself. As I did mention, like the gas prices and stuff, they are starting to drop. They drop a lot slower than they go up, though, don't they, folks? I mean, that's just a fact. It's just the way it is. Um, you got to figure that grocery bills on a family of four right now, are anywhere between $800 to $1,200 a month, depending on what you eat and what you have to buy and everything else. Now you can probably tack on another $300 to $500. So people are looking right around, anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month for food, unless you're eating ramen noodles and mac and cheese. Because I mean, you got to figure kids start back to school. If they don't buy the lunch and you pack their lunch, I mean, there's more added expense there. Every little thing starts adding up when you're on a very tight budget. It makes it very difficult, you know and um it's just horrendous of what is going on. Then we have Nancy Pelosi that wants to do her little tour and take a trip over to Taiwan. And we have China that is like really bucking that big time. And if she does it, supposedly it's going to be something of a kind of like quote act of war or something. And I don't know if that's going to be really a smart decision. Evidently, I guess that the White House and Mr. Joe Biden there did say that he wouldn't stop her. This is what he said the other day. Now, I don't know if he's going to stick to this plan or not, but China is not happy with her showing up there. Now, my thing is, I mean, in today's technology, um, you could FaceTime with whoever you want, or, message whoever you want. I mean, you can do video chats, I mean, the whole nine yards, I mean, there's got to be a different way besides starting World War III over a plane visit. And I understand that both Republicans and Democrats think that she should go and, I guess, make an appearance there. They're both on agreement. Now, whether that actually is going to still take place, I don't know. It's still up in the air. Nobody has actually came out and said yes, it is, or no, it isn't. But why would we want to send somebody somewhere where it's so unsafe? They're already building up a military plan to keep her safe while she travels through there and to Taiwan. And why? I just don't understand it. We have Europe that is suffering right now because of they went through that huge heat wave. Then they turned around and Russia has been starting to cut off some of the gas and stuff to different countries. They are building a defense right now from what I saw on the news this morning when I was watching, and they were showing some maps. Um, and they were talking about they had a ex general on the news channel this morning, and he was talking about what it looks like they're trying to do. There is rhetoric coming out of Russia right now that they want to take total control over Ukraine. They want to take the whole thing. Now, at this point, to me, that's just them running their mouths, if you want to look at it that way, because they've been in this war for how many months now, and they still haven't. They've pushed in just so far, and they've gotten so much accomplished, but they've had a lot of failures. And the only way I see them actually really doing this is if they want to use some type of a nuclear weapon. Now, this is a last resort. I hope none of this happens. But if what they say is actually true, then however else are they going to get around it? Because it doesn't seem like their army has had any luck with pushing into Ukraine, because Ukraine has been fighting back thanks to the arms and stuff that we have given them. Um, when they're fighting a war, we're supplying them with the goods. The only benefit to that is it keeps our boots off the ground. We're not involved with it yet. And I stress yet. That is a big concern of mine. I will really worry about what is taking place as far as that whole concept. I'm afraid that if one little thing goes wrong or anything else, I don't want to see any of our men or women in our military have to enter that soil over there and have to fight a bloody war. Now, with that being said, if that's what has to take place, I have the utmost respect and I have the utmost, what's the word I want? I really do believe that if it was called up upon our military to have to go fight this war to finish it off, they would do it because that's what they signed up for. You see, one thing about this country is we're not a country that is built to go in and police and run another country. All right, like what was taking place after Kuwait, Afghanistan, all this. We're not built to do that. All right, maybe some other countries are. That's not our gig. Now, there's a lot of people that may disagree with me on this, but what we're designed for is we go in, we do the job, we kick ass, and we get the hell out. That's what we do. All right. We have to make sure that if we do have to go into this war, if it does go that far, folks, which I really hope it doesn't, that for some reason that they will be able to stop any type of nuclear usage on any front. Um, Putin has, well, his team supposedly agreed. This was what, last week or the week before, that he was going to allow and let them start shipping out of Ukraine all the wheat and all the type of goods and stuff to help with the world hunger and the shortage of wheat and those products. In the same breath, they turn around to me. It was a slap in the face, stabbed him in the back, and dropped a few bombs right there in the port. Now, what does that tell you? All right. It tells you two things, folks. You can't trust them. And if they tell you they're going to do something, you might want to have a set of eyes in the back of your head because they're going to stab you right in the back. It was proof in the pudding is when they agreed to United Nations and everybody agreed and everything else. They let them get that stuff out of there and start shipping the food and everything else out. And then they turn around the very next day and drop bombs and stuff. What do you all think? I don't trust them as far as I could throw them personally, but that's just my opinion. What is happening in this world right now is also very concerning as far as all this stuff was all hitting at once. Has anybody else really felt this way? I mean, you get up in the morning, you put the TV on, you can turn on the radio, you can listen to YouTube videos, however you want to get your news. It's the same thing every day. It's just another. It's like Groundhog Day. All right, we all feel like it's Groundhog Day. Every day we wake up, it's Groundhog Day. It's the same stuff. The same stuff is happening, but nothing's getting any better. There's no solutions to the problems that are at hand. There's nobody making these steps to try to um, diffuse a lot of these different situations. Some of these people in Washington D.C. are just not helping the situation out at all. And I don't think that either party is doing enough right now as far as trying to make sure that they're taking care of the American people and doing the best that they can to make sure that, for one, look at all the homeless vets. I got 5 of them that I see on a daily basis, and all 5 of them live in their vehicles. I see it every single day. They're 5 vets. Because I've given them money, I've given them food, I've given them water. I mean, come on. What's the government doing about that? I think that's just, it shouldn't even be happening. I shouldn't even be having this discussion. If a vet goes, if one of our servicemen or women get injured while defending this country, while doing whatever they're supposed to be doing, whatever, on their job, whatever their job is in the military, and it prevents them from turning around and carrying on like a good soldier, then what is this? I don't get it, folks. It's like we just forgot about them. We forgot about the flag. We forgot what took place. Does people really have that short of a memory span? I mean, in the previous wars that a lot of people know about, Afghanistan, Kuwait, and all that kind of stuff, then we go back, you got Vietnam, we got all these. And what took place in Vietnam, what happened to those soldiers when they came home was just horrendous. How they were treated and the way they were treated and everything else. That should not be allowed to be happening. Period. We've got weather. We haven't even had a hurricane yet this year. And the amount of damage and stuff that's been done throughout this country between fires and floods and tornadoes, it's already in the billions and billions of dollars. Look what just happened in Kentucky. Those poor people can't even imagine. I mean, Kentucky, Tennessee, all the way over to St. Louis. It was just unreal. And It was just the way that the fronts just kept coming through. They just kept, I think the meteorologists call it to train. The jet stream doesn't change at all. It just kind of like stays right there. There was no high pressure or low pressure anywhere associated with this jet stream, and it just stayed right in place. And so what happens is each storm comes through on a daily basis, and it just keeps coming through, and it just pounded these poor people from St. Louis all the way over to Kentucky. I mean, in Buffalo, New York, they had an EF2 tornado. I, I mean, Buffalo, New York. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Some of this stuff is just wild and crazy, folks, and it's just a wild and crazy ride. And we're sitting here, and we also have to, just keep setting in. It's just like the reality is really sinking in to millions of people, and there are probably millions of people out here that probably don't want to hear this. But the fact of the matter is, folks, the only thing that you can do is to be prepared. And if you believe in God, I would highly suggest you keep praying, because we're going to need all the help we get. And if you don't, that is your choice. That's why you live in this country. But what I'm saying is, we all need a little help sometimes. And the only way that you can succeed in being prepared, because the reality of all this stuff sinking in is mind-boggling to most people. They don't want to sit back and accept the inevitable of what could happen or what is taking place. Even if they see it with their own eyes, folks, they do not want to acknowledge that there's any issues, that there's any problems, that there is anything wrong or going on that they really need to be concerned about. They go on about their daily lives with little blinders on so that they don't listen to the radios, they don't listen to TV, they probably play music through their phone or whatever else, so they get no commercials or anything else. And then when the shit hits the fan, they're going to be like, why didn't I prepare? Exactly. The question is, you have to be ready. You have to be the one to make that decision. You have to be the one that is totally prepared. You can watch YouTube videos. You can gather all types of information. I've talked about this several times, and I know I sound like a broken record, but in this day and age, folks, people got to wake up. You people out there, you have to wake up and smell the roses, because what is going on, it ain't getting any better. If you haven't noticed, the GDP, it ain't getting any better. The inflation ain't getting any better. Recession, that's coming in. That ain't getting any better. The only thing that's getting a little bit better is gas prices have gone down a few cents. Big deal. Is that helping you out? Maybe just a little. All right. So if the gas prices went down, let's say 5 cents, and you went and you filled your car up, you put 40, $50 in it. Depends on what kind of car you got. All right. So what are you going to do with that spare change of yours? You're not even going to buy a half a gallon of milk. You won't even get a loaf of bread. You see what I'm talking about? The prices are going down in the wrong areas here, folks. And the prices are going up in the wrong areas. You get what I'm saying? I wonder how many kids out there are probably just dying to get back to school so that they can have those couple of hot meals a day. Not saying anything against any parents. I'm not judging anybody. But how do you think kids feel? And then you have to turn around and think how the parents feel. Because, see, if you were prepped and ready at any point in given time, if you were one of the ones that were listening years back before The whole Charlie Victor 19 in March of 2020, when all hell broke loose. And you started prepping, you started putting away stuff, and you started doing stuff then, back when stuff was cheap. I mean, you could buy stuff for not practically next to nothing. I mean, that's just the way it was. But now, Lord have mercy, it's almost like you got to take a loan out of the bank to go to the grocery store, to try to put food on the table, just to try to feed your family. And for everybody out there that's probably running up your credit cards and living off your credit cards, maybe you don't have a choice. And I've been there. I've been there. I've done that. I've gone through those hard times. And I know exactly what you people are going through if you are living off your credit cards because you don't have a choice. And the problem is, once you hit that max limit and you run that credit card and it doesn't work, then what are you going to do? When my kids were younger, I worked 2 jobs. My wife also worked too. I go to work at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't go home till 9, 10 o'clock at night. Did what I had to do. You got a family. And now it's even harder because of the inflation that is way up there. I can't even imagine trying to raise a family on just minimum wage. I don't care if your minimum wage is $15 an hour. You do the math. All right. Your grocery bill per month is probably going to run you, pretty close to, say, $1,200-1,500. All right. We're doing a family of 4 here. So now you have to have at least, a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. So you're down here, you're talking, that's $2,000 right there, 2 to 2,500 a month. Electricity just went up again. Price of water just went up again. Natural gas, if you're on natural gas, that went up. So they're getting you on all fronts. And when you're done with that little paycheck, you think you're making $15 an hour. I'm doing really well. No, you're doing a lot better than where you were. Just imagine if the rate that you were paid was based, what was going on right now was based before they started raising all the minimum wage payments throughout the country and everything. People up to $15 an hour. Just imagine if you were still making $7, $8, maybe $9 an hour, and this hit. You want to see chaos? You want to talk about millions of people, about reality sinking in? It would have sunk in like that instantly, because nobody would have been able to afford food, gas, anything. Forget housing. You would have had millions and millions of Americans flooding the streets because they have nowhere else to go. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go? They're working, but they were only making $7, $8, $9 an hour. At least now they're making 15. So that's a little bit better. I don't know what it is in every state. Down here it's $15 an hour. So, but the point is the prices have gone up so high that even with them raising it to $15 an hour, maybe this was part of the plan. Maybe that was part of the plan. We'll give them their raises. We'll raise them up to $15 an hour. And then we'll just raise everything and we'll get all the money right back. Taxes are going to go up within a matter of a few years because all the tax breaks that we were given, those all have an expiration date, folks. So don't think that, these tax breaks and everything, they're going to have to start paying for some of this stuff. And you know where they're going to hit? The middle class are going to pay for it. I don't care what they say. I don't care anything else. you hear them talk about, oh well, we're going to we're going to make all the big companies pay for it, and the corporations and the billionaires and everybody else and all this. And I want to see it on paper. I want to see it actually happen, because technically speaking, throughout history, every time that there's ever been any type of taxes that have been raised, it's always on the middle class. The middle class has pulled this country for decades. It always has, it always will. The working class is the one that pays the most taxes, so that the higher class can sit back and reap the most benefits. If you don't believe me, you didn't pay attention in school. You can Google it. You can do whatever you want. It's just the way it is. These big corporations and these big, huge businesses and businessmen and all this, they all have agendas, and they all have the numbers of whoever they want in the White House, and they have the cash flow to make sure that whatever it is that they want to get done and that they want to push through, that they want to back and everything else, that's what's going to happen. Because see, no longer does, at least it seems like, now I'm not going to speak for everybody in Washington, D.C., okay? There may be a few people that are left that are really good, that really care about the American people. You know, the thing that says right on the Constitution, we the people. But a lot of them, they're worried about who's lining their pockets. And I have a problem with that. And everybody else should have a problem with that also, because when you turn around and you really think about what these people are doing to line their pockets and what they're doing to us American people, you and me, us, everybody out here watching, there's what, 1,417 people watching right now that I can see. All right. Us. Do you honestly think that that's fair? We're getting screwed, folks. And we're getting screwed so hard, they forgot to give us the Vaseline because they couldn't afford it. Do you all understand where I'm coming from? If you understand where I'm coming from, give me a number one. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Give me a number one. That we're getting screwed. The American people, we're getting screwed royally. And for what? For what? I haven't been able to figure that one out yet. And I've had people comment and everything else. Oh, you got to go, look at this report and look at that report and do this and do that and everything else. And you know what? I'm telling you right now, we're still getting screwed. And what doesn't make sense is it's being allowed. That's the bothersome part of this whole situation that we are dealing with. And the scary situation is, it seems like whoever is in charge of this country, because I'm not sure who is, somebody doesn't care. Somebody has an agenda. I was taught from a young little guy, always go with your gut feeling. Always believe what you really believe, and you feel it in your heart, because your gut never lies to you. And I've bucked my gut a couple of times, and I paid the price. I learned the hard way. When I was growing up, that's how you learned. You learned the hard way. Nowadays, everybody gets a trophy when they go and play a tournament. When I played basketball in high school, if we didn't win, you didn't get no trophy. You got a pat on the back from the coach. And the coach said, you know what? We'll practice and we'll be better and we'll beat them next time. That's how we learned, the hard way. Sometimes I wish there were certain things that we could go back and we could keep and bring into the future. And that is something that I wish that we could, is actually people being taught that what you want out of life, you have to work for. It's not handed to you on a silver platter. You see, the older generation doesn't owe us, younger generation, anything. If anything, we owe the older generation a lot because they have taught us a lot throughout all the years for those who have paid attention. Now, by that I mean, we all had grandparents. Maybe some of your grandparents went through the Great Depression. I know mine did. They know a lot of stuff. I'd give anything for my grandparents to still be alive. I loved being around my grandparents. They lived in Michigan. And I remember going up there and I'd be sitting on the back stoop with my grandma, and my grandpa would bring a garden out of the garden, green beans, and bring them up and set them down on the stoop. And we'd sit there and we'd snip green beans, me and my grandmother. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And I was probably, I don't know, 7 years old. But it's things like that that instilled things inside of me of what I do and how I live my life. I learned how to earn my keep. You know, we always had a huge garden when I was growing up. You had to go out, you'd have to do weed eating, you had to go out, you had to cut the grass, you'd have to, weed the garden. Harvest time, you got to help pick, then you got to clean the garden out, you got to till the garden, get it ready for winter. The whole 9 years, there's always work to be done, you know. And then mom would be inside, she would can, a bunch of the stuff, she had all the canning stuff because that's how she survived as a kid. Because my grandparents, that's what they did. They canned everything. My grandmother used to make 10 loaves of bread a day. Didn't go to the store and buy it, couldn't afford it. But that's the problem. Nowadays, the problem is we, the people, have lost, certain we, the people, have lost the touch, the insight of where we've come from and where we are going. And where we are going at this point in time, folks, is a reality check. And what I mean by that is you got to be asleep to believe it. Because it's nothing but a dream. And that is from George Carlin. I love George Carlin. Maybe some of you older folks out there, you probably know who he is. He's a great comedian. But he also spoke the truth. Very much so. You sit back and you listen to him. If you haven't listened to him, he does have some swear words. But if you listen to the message, it's a scary thought. Because some of the stuff that he talked about 20, 30 years ago is all coming around now. What did George know that we didn't? I mean, come on. I'm just telling you. It's just the way the things are going. And what we have to do, we have to make sure that we are making a plan. We have to make sure that you are being the most critical of every cent that you are spending. You have to make sure that if you are making a budget, if you are making a plan, if you are making any of these type of things, you have to stick to it. It is so imperative at this point in time. I'm not no financial advisor or anything else. My wife takes care of all that kind of stuff. But I pay attention. I play dumb, but I pay attention. I understand how things work. But see, that was also taught to us when we went to school. Whereas in nowadays, I think they're trying to actually bring some of that back, at least down here in the state of Florida. I know they were trying to bring back a lot more of the hands-on economics, um, all that type of stuff. So people and kids have a grasp of um, how to do a checkbook, how to balance a checkbook, um, how to write a check. You wouldn't believe the people that I have to deal with that don't even know how to write a check. Not kidding you. And I'm talking not young folks. It's scary, folks. But we have to make sure that we are staying prepared. We have to make sure that we're staying on plan. We have to do our part. We have to make sure that whatever we are doing it for the basics of the common good of our families. Whatever you are spending, you have to ask yourself, is this going to be for the common good of my family if something happens? Ask yourself that. What will this do for me? If I'm spending X for Y, what will it do for me? How will it make me? How will it protect me? How will it feed me? Will it help me get through the situation? These are all questions you have to be asking yourself at this point in time, just because things are so expensive, folks. We're headed into an area that some people haven't even been through because they haven't even been around that long since 1981. I mean, they don't know what to do. They've never been through this. Maybe they read about it in some history books, or maybe somebody might have taught them something in school, or in a history class, or a economics class, or something. If they were lucky enough to get one of those. But the point being here is, you have to ask yourself these things. If you're buying something that's not food products that you can put away and store for a rainy day, and those rainy days, they're already here, folks. The flooding has begun, except for out west, and it's dry as a bone, and everything is just drying up out there. Las Vegas has what, less than like 49 days worth of water left because all the fires out there contaminating all the water that has been stored in some of these smaller reservoirs and stuff outside the city. It's all been contaminated. Now, one has to ask themselves, with everything else that's crazy going on in this world, what would be a logical question? Was that planned? Did somebody sabotage them? Did somebody deliberately set those fires? Who could it be? But nobody really asks any questions. We don't really have much solutions either. So we all just have to make sure that we are doing our part. You got to make sure that you are trying to find the best deals you can. Like I have said in a lot of my videos, you all can go back and watch. A lot of my videos I have all talked about, you can download the apps from all these different types of stores that you can go to. I think everybody's got an app now. I think even the dog catcher has an app if you need to get a hold of him. You see what I'm saying? They're out there. You have you can still get flyers. You can get those on your computer. You can get them on your phone. I mean, they're still in the papers. Um, there are several different ways, and this way you can stay up and plan and try to see where you're going to get your best deals from, and is it worth me driving that far? But as the gas prices keep falling like ashes, and the Chinese rocket out of the sky is supposed to be crashing down at some point this weekend, Lord only knows where, you know and you know, is it worth it? Is it worth for me to drive way down there to save? X amount. And if the question's yes, if if it's worth it, then plan your trip. Boom, go down there and hit that, then hit the other stores on the way back or however you got to do it. You know, like I've said before, you want to do a loop. That's how you want to do it. Start here, you loop all the way around, come back to your house. Don't be zigzagging all over town and everything else because all you're going to do then is just waste gas, which is costing you more money, which we're trying to avoid. So, in closing, folks, I want you all to remember that you have the power to change the way the book is written. You can make a difference in your life, in your family's lives, in your kids' lives by teaching them the ways that they need to be taught and the things that they need to know. Not so much about survival. You can teach them that when they get older or whatever else. Get them out there. Let them help you grow food. Let them work in the garden, especially if they're little kids. They love to get their hands dirty. And if you're the dad in the house, take your kids out there and let them get dirty and everything else, and mom will love it when they go walking in the house. Yes, been there, done that. Anyways, the trick to the whole story is we control our future. As much as we think, and as much as the government wants to think that they control the future, it's we, the people, control the future. You can see, because once they pushed we, the people, too far, that's when it's really going to get pretty ugly. I'm afraid. And I really hope that nothing like that ever comes around, at least not in my lifetime, but I wouldn't want to wish that on my grandkids either, or my kids. And I don't think anybody else there would. But the people can only take so much. So, in closing, I want to make sure that everybody does understand you can make a difference. You are the ones that can make the difference. I help. I try to give you inspiration. I try to give you knowledge. I try to make sure that you're in the now so you know what's going on. I want to make sure that you know how to prep. I've done several videos. I want to make sure that you and your family can be safe. If a hurricane hits, I have a whole ton of hurricane videos, but it isn't looking too good this year because so far the Sahara dust has been blowing across and it has just crushed anything. So let's see what we get. Who knows? Maybe it'll snow in Florida this year. It's happened before. Guess it could happen again. So, on that note, I'm going to jump over here. We're running almost up to an hour. We still have to give away. Don't everybody go anywhere because you may be the winner. So let me jump in here real quick. I did see I got another super chat. I don't know if I can get back to that. Let me see. Can I get back to my super chats? Does one of my moderators know who gave this super chat and what it was? Because I can't scroll. It won't let me scroll back that far because all you people have written so many messages here. I don't know. Nope, it's pretty good when you have a problem that you've never run across to on the YouTube here. I can't get back to the beginning of my chat. Oh, Hippie Tides here. How you doing? All right. All right. Is JT or Jan still in here? Ron Foster. Ron Foster. All right, Ron, thank you very much. I saw it go by real quick. I didn't see the name, and I can't get back to it now. I'll have to figure that one out, how I can get all the way back to the very top, because it won't let me go all the way back. Hey, Alaskan Preppers here. Good evening, sir. How are you? I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I look forward to seeing yours once we get you back on track. And now it is time for our giveaway this week. And the giveaway was on the video from Friday. And we're going to pick the person right now. Let me drop this into the random winner here on the comment picker. And here we go. And the winner is Jeannie Arnett. Jeannie Arnett, you are the winner. And your comment was, whomever is unsure if they are prepping too much or too little, you'll know the answer to that mystery when you run out. Jeannie, that is a excellent comment. And you're winning 2 4 Patriots 72-hour emergency food supply kit. It's perfect for if you want to go camping or survival or anything like that. It's freeze dried. It's good for 25 years. You get 16 servings in each bag. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 72 hours. You're getting 2 of those kits. And I do really appreciate you, Jeannie, for being part of this community, as I do all of you out there. You all are great. I couldn't ask for a better community. I know I praise you guys all the time, but without you, I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't be able to be a part of this great community that we are building and growing on a daily basis. We wouldn't be able to enjoy each other's company, share the knowledge so that we all learn something together. You see, that's the biggest thing here, folks, is you have to realize that we're all in this boat together. And the more we can help each other out in this community through comments and everything else, that's what makes it so great, because we are trying to thrive, to survive, and be positive so that we and our families will be okay. So when we go to bed at night, we don't lay there wondering if everything's going to be fine. When we go to bed at night, we're going to put our head on the pillow, thank the good Lord above for the day that He's given us, for the companionship, and for everybody that answered my question on YouTube. Right? Just joking, folks. Just a joke. But it's true. All right. So that's why it's such a great community, because people try to help people out. It's very difficult for me during the week. I've been trying, but it's very difficult with my hours that I work and everything else. And, it makes it real hard to get online and answer comments and all this kind of stuff. I try to go through in the first hour and try to, like all the good comments and stuff, but sometimes answering some of the ones that are more in detailed. What I would say to that is, if you have a detailed question that you really need answered or you want me to address, you can always email it to me and I'll do my best. It may take me a few days. You may have to wait to the weekend, but I will get back to you and address your question. I'll do my best. If I don't have an answer, I'll let you know, and I'll try to direct you to the person or channel or whoever that does. See, I'm not one of these guys that's sitting here and saying, oh, all you people are just mine. There's tons of great channels out there. I used to watch them all. And now, I mean, the sucky thing is, as a creator now, and as my channel is growing and stuff, I don't have as much time to actually sit and watch a lot of the ones that I really love to watch. Alaskan Prepper was one. I try to catch some of his lives or some of his videos or stuff, just because I've been watching him from the very beginning. He was probably one of the first videos that I watched on YouTube. I'm just telling you, it's just the way it is. So what really has to take place um, for people to really understand, what it goes into being the content creator, and you just don't have that time anymore. And it's, there's always something going on, or you're trying to put together content, and you're trying to do research, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and I'd love to be sitting back drinking a cold beer and just watching a video. Some guy sitting here talking in a Hawaiian shirt with a baseball cap on. I mean, but this is what I chose to do because I'm a firm believer. And the reason I started this channel was, is I had a very good gut feeling that I was supposed to start this channel so that I could help people out, so that I could make sure that people were getting the word, whether they wanted to hear it or not. Because remember, folks, I didn't click you in here. You clicked yourself in here. And I hope that you do get information from this channel that helps you out, that helps you be prepared, that helps you and guides you to make sure that you and your family are safe, secure, fed, and well taken care of, because nobody else is going to do it for you. So, on that note, I'd like to thank everybody. I saw something. I got a super chat from Monica Kelly. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do that, but thank you very, very much. I do appreciate that, Monica. Let me scroll through here real quick as far as this thing will let me go. All right, we've gone way past our time here, folks. And well, all right, got another one just popped up here. Where'd it go? It jumped so fast. Mini RLWTR. Want any free books for giveaways? Problem is shipping on you. Problem is shipping is on you. Oh, well, what kind of books? Email me with some information and stuff. And thank you for the super chat first. But if you want to email me with some information and stuff, I'll take a look at it and I'll let you know. And maybe we can get something. I don't mind paying, to ship a few books and stuff out. Maybe some winners for some giveaways. Yeah, just reach out to me through my email. Thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. And on that note, folks, we got to get out of here because we're like 8 minutes way past our time here. And I know you all are just great for sticking around. Thank you so much. I want to thank all my moderators, JT, Jan, Coffee First and Speak. Thank you for being here. Three of the best moderators that anybody can ask for. I'd also like to thank everybody that does watch all the videos throughout the week. And like I did say, this coming week, there will be no giveaway on next Saturday's live stream. I'm going to be working on putting something else together and hopefully have something coming up. And then we'll be taking it from there. There are videos coming out all week long. The only day that there may not be one is Thursday, but the rest of the week, there'll be videos. I do have a really good video coming out tomorrow concerning Walmart on video footage I took. You guys will have to check it out. Comes out at 2:00 tomorrow. And on that note, thank you all so much for tuning in, for being a part of survival preparedness for beginners. I really do appreciate it. You people are great. Thank you again. And until next time, I'll catch you all on the flip side.